So welcome to the DVCon 2020 in Europe, kind of distributed all over Europe. And let's get started so that we get to the program. First of all, let's have a thank to the conference sponsors. As usual, that's Accelera, who is the conference sponsor, and our global sponsors, Cadence, Mentor, and Synopsys. On top of that, we have the silver sponsors this year, Amicu, Circuitsuta, OneSpin, Sigassi, and Veriest. Thank you for sponsoring our event to make that happen. Then getting to the DVCon welcome. What's new this year? This year it's completely different. So we decided beginning of March to move from a live session into a virtual session. And as it turns out these days, looking at the infection rates we have, it was the right thing to do. Still, having this in front of us, we didn't know what kind of journey was in front of us with moving the conference to virtual. It's kind of unbelievable sometimes for us being electrical engineers, how difficult it is to get such an online event in place. And still, our aim was to have a similar experience as on a conference, because I think that's the most important. Looking at YouTube videos or things like that is something that you have in your day-to-day life, but rather than that, we wanted to have more that's closer to a real live conference, and that's why we have looking quite long and very hard to come up with a scheme that gets some real conference feeling into this event by adding these virtual experience rooms, so that you have the ability to have some kind of face-to-face talking to each other, even it's just some avatars that you see in front of you, but at least you have a kind of feeling being in a room with other people and talk to them. Besides that kind of really challenging setup of the DVCon as kind of the framework, we basically enriched the program with having this flexibility that not that many people need to travel. We have 4 keynotes instead of 2, which I think really allows us to get the spirit of leading industry companies into the conference to see where the journey can go the next years. And I think that's also one of the kind of ideas of a conference, to give you new ideas and let you look outside of your day-to-day work. And the other thing we did new with this conference, again, we have poster sessions, and we placed them also in these virtual experience rooms, so that there is also some more motivation to get in there besides having a coffee and talk to each other. Why to attend DVCon, if I could ask? I think it's still the same as last year. So basically getting people together. One additional thing that I always try to bring up is to get the hardware and software guys together, which is also one of the key themes of 2 of the 4, or probably all of the keynotes that we have, so that hard and software design is no longer kind of divided by a big border, but rather they start to talk to each other and understand each other and work probably in the same framework. And then, of course, as it's driven by Accelera, that we are able to move the standards forwards by having you actively participate in these things. Here, an overview of the steering team, and I have to really say thanks to the whole team. It was really challenging this year. We don't do this conference the first year, so it's the 6th time we do that. But as said, it was quite challenging with this new setup. It was so much easier just to get into the hotel and do this introduction speech, rather than having all this IT infrastructure in place that works and share the message with you through this channel. Then just a kind of organization kind of thing. Coffee breaks, it's important for engineers. In the past, we were able to serve you a real good coffee in the hotel. This year, we have kind of the whole thing virtual available in our virtual experience rooms. You will find coffee machines, but it's rather than a place to get together like you have in your company as well, where you meet other peoples. Networking, still the same as last year's. So on social medias, you can do interactions. And it's really interesting if you use the hashtags like DVCon, what you get to see. Therefore, I think it's important that we stay with this hashtag DVCon Europe to not get mixed with other things. And of course, you can do the networking in the virtual experience rooms. And with this, I want to hand over this introduction talk to Tran, who will give us an insight on the panel that will follow up the coming days. Tran?
You're mute, Tran.
Hi everyone, so I'm trying the panel session this year. So this year we have two exciting panels to come. You have a panel today and another panel tomorrow. So the panel of today is on about security. So assessing the needs and solution for secure IC supply chain. So it's quite interesting. Here we have the chance to have Paul Dempsey from Tech Design Forum who will manage this panel. It will assess about on the challenge we have to address trust and security challenge. You know, how to identify security weakness and vulnerabilities. Exciting discussion to come. And tomorrow we will have another panel, which is about verification challenge of an exascan supercomputer. As you know, there's an initiative in Europe to build an exascan computer, but and we will see more and more initiatives like this to come. So on the discussion here, and it will be moderated by Jean-Marie Brunet from Mentor, a Siemens business. It's about everything you need to build this kind of you know, exascan computer with all the requirement around security, around robustness. So yeah, so we have very, very exciting two panels to come. So I'm looking forward to see you on those panels. Thank you.
So then let me continue. Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Stefan Gerd and I'm this year's tutorial chair. And this time we can offer 13 tutorials, including a 2-hour workshop on simulation standards to provide you a broad coverage on industry knowledge. And if you go on the next slide, we see that this manifests in a tutorial range from artificial intelligence and deep learning up to functional safety in various aspects. And industry brokers since last year is also shown in recurring topics such as risk file compliance and quick error detection. And on this tutorial day, we organized the user tutorials in the morning, most of them owned to some time zone issues. And in the evening, we have the sponsor tutorials all organized in 4 tracks. So we can see them on the next slide. And I recommend you to get the most out of the STIAS tutorials. And on this occasion, also a big thank you to our tutorial sponsors, which provide you with updates on the best practices on the applications. And with the next slide, we can also see the tutorial sponsors again, and then back to Joachim.
Joachim, you're on
mute.
So we're still practicing our virtual.
You're on mute, Joachim.
Joachim, you're still on mute.
You're still on mute, Joachim.
So Brianna, can you unmute Joachim? I can't.
Yeah.
I pressed ask to unmute.
Joachim, can you mute and mute yourself, maybe?
Otherwise, you can take
Yes.
over, Oliver.
Yes. I
Is
think we
it,
have
is
it
it
now. You know.
audible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So, okay, then I have the pleasure to welcome our exhibitors. This year we just have a virtual exhibition area, but still we got some companies to try that, which is, I think, also a nice experience, a new experience to them. And we'll see how it works out at the end. So go there and visit them to make this effort worthwhile. And this leads us basically to give you a little insight. Probably you have also seen already some of the informations on the webpage about that. So this is the virtual experience rooms are in essence running in parallel or being available parallel to the tracks. Of course, it's better if you attend the tracks, but this is just to give you an insight on what's there. They are kind of arranged quite similar, all of them. So we have 8 experience rooms, and I will show you a kind of overview in the next slide, which have a booth for our exhibitors. We have our virtual coffee machines there. We have the poster booth, 2 of them, so that you can go there and watch the video which is there and read the poster which is there. And we have then 2 video screens where we run additional informations. The structure of the virtual experience room is kind of shown here. So we have in essence 8 lobbies, and so you have even and odd numbered lobbies, and depending on if you're an even or odd number, you will see 4 different doors to 4 different experience rooms, which are this System C, UVM, Portable Stimulus, Functional Safety, IP Exact, AMS, IP Security, and System Verilog room. And there's also doors between the lobby, so you can jump from one lobby to the other. You just need to see if you're in an even or odd, and then you see all the different abilities to go there. One thing that needs to be mentioned is if you want to meet somebody, best do this in one of those rooms, because if you, in essence, go from a lobby into a room and you plan to meet somebody in the lobby, you don't know in which lobby you will end up when you leave one of the experience rooms. And therefore, it's recommended that if you want to meet somebody, basically arrange a meeting in one of the experience rooms. And I think one of the things that needs to be said, Mark, who's basically the vice chair of the TPC, did quite a lot of work on that, and I think there's a special thanks to him on getting this in place, along with Martin, who basically did fight quite some nights to get this in place. This slide shows a bit of an overview where you can find our exhibitors, in which room, and also what posters will be available. There will be more details on the posters tomorrow in the openings talk. This is just to give you a teaser on where you can find the different things. And of course, one of the first things you need to do, if you have not done so already, you will need to create your avatar before entering the world. It's really simple. If you are not really looking for a perfect avatar, which probably can take a little time to create, but if you just want to have a simple one, then that's quite easy, and I think it's good enough. It's about to getting in touch with each other, and your name is in essence kind of showing up on top of your avatar, so you can be identified within the virtual world. Coming to the media sponsors, we work together with the medias to distribute the informations and the news we have while we set up the conference, and I think it's worthwhile to mention them. Also, Annette is helping us quite a lot in getting the connections in place so that informations that we share are really reaching you. So thanks to the media sponsors. Another kind of side ad I want to do is there is this co-located in these days. It's basically using the same system. In the past, it was actually in the same venue, the same hotel. We host again the System C Evolution Day, which is the day after the DVCon. And the registration is still open. So if you're interested, you can also still register for the System C Evolution Day, which is kind of an extension to what we present these 2 days in the DVCon. Besides, as mentioned at the beginning, we also have 4 keynotes, and I just want to give you an insight what kind of keynotes you will be able to attend today. So I will present them in a kind of inverse order, just to kind of build the bridge into the keynote that we expect to happen in something like 10 minutes from now. So the first one will be from Victoria, which is from ARM. She will talk about the development in terms of hardware and software. And the other keynote that we will have in the morning, which is after this, is from Moshe, which is also kind of bridging this idea to getting hardware and software verification, design ideas, best practices, and workflows closer together, and not having them as 2 separate worlds like there are in many places still around. And this, I think, gets me to the end of the introduction talk, a bit ahead of schedule, which gives us some headway to get the keynote in place. So enjoy this DVCon 2020 in this different format. We are kind of the pioneer for the DVCons. So other DVCons, if health situation is not changing, probably will look at what we have done and maybe do things in a similar way like we did that. But I think it's really a challenge to get this in place, but it's also an opportunity to experience new things with this new format. And with this, I want to say thanks, and let's get ready for the keynote.